Hello hello. Hôm nay thực ra mình không định chơi đâu. Định chơi It Takes Two với thằng em mình. Nhưng mà nó kiểu học xong mệt ý. Không chơi leo trèo rồi chóng mặt ấy. Thế là nó bị mệt. Thế là thôi, chúng ta sẽ quay trở lại với Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. Yeah. Mình đang chờ mòn mỏi cái chapter 1 để bao giờ nó ra thì mình sẽ cân nhắc xem là mình có mua không. Nó ra chắc là cũng đắt lắm. Nhưng mà cái dòng Sherlock Holmes này chơi mấy cái dòng mới mới này hay thật. Mấy cái dòng cũ mình chơi mình thấy nó giải đố quá, đau đầu mệt. Lần trước thì chúng ta đã gọi là dừng lại, gọi là trailer của vụ án thứ tư và có lẽ cũng là vụ án cuối cùng của series Sherlock Holmes. Thì chúng ta đã đến với một cái dinh thự của một ông bá tước rất là giàu có. Và ông ấy đã bị giết hại. Và đây là vợ ông ấy. Thì tối qua là chúng ta đã phỏng vấn được vợ ông ấy rồi. Thì hôm nay chúng ta sẽ công việc là sẽ đi khám nghiệm tử thi. Theo như lời cái gì đây? Có cái gì đây? Tí thì mình mất một cái. Đây tức là cái vụ án này là ông bá tước này thì bị một cái bọn gọi là gangster đến và cướp và sát hại. Rồi, đây là kiểu những cái 3 người ở trong cái nhóm này.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Đấy, tức là rất có khả năng là cái bọn Randall này là bọn nó đã tối và cướp bóc và sau đấy thì giết chết luôn ông chồng. Đơn giản như thế thôi. Từ chỗ này mình có nhiều cái này hôm qua đi.
Lord Brigham Brackenstall.
Mình kiểu hôm nay đi là
Sir Warthen Brackenstall.
đây là coi như là chắc là ông cha bố ở đây đây. Thằng thanh tra này đến chả đi xét nghiệm gì cả. Toàn là nhờ chờ đến mình để đi giải án hộ, có chết tôi không?
Baron Lyndon Brackenstall.
Rồi đây là chính là căn phòng mà ông đấy đã bị sát hại. Rồi, chúng ta sẽ khám nghiệm tử thi.
Sir Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon.
Ông này là theo như bà vợ nói là ông ấy kiểu thấy bọn cướp vào đột nhập thì ông ấy đã cầm cái gậy này để phòng vệ và sau đấy thì đã bị bọn cướp gọi là giết chết. Đây bị kiếp chấn thương này.
The head was cracked.
Rồi. Gì đây?
That must be the murder weapon.
Là bị đánh bởi cái này và ngã xuống và chết luôn.
Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress.
Còn gì nữa không? Phải có một cái gì đấy mà mình chưa gọi là
That must.
ngủ mà cũng sơ vin nhỉ? T à? Cái gì đấy?
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me.
Này mình vẫn chưa khám nghiệm hết. Còn gì nữa không? Chơi tôi đã
Quite a lot.
gọi là tôi đã super soi kỹ lắm rồi đấy.
Barefoot. It is covered in blood.
À đây.
Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. That is one possible explanation.
Rồi. Có 3 cốc à?
This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. A decanter standing next to the open bottle, an inseparable pair indeed. Chateau Calon Ségur, French wine, Grand Cru. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured.
Cái này mình chả biết gì đâu. Như kiểu là ai hiểu về rượu thì chắc là
This
biết được.
glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear.
Nhưng mà cũng đúng là hơi lạ thật. À đây. Đây có phải là cái sợi dây
Sailor's
không?
knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me.
Ok, rồi. Hết
This
chưa?
is the chair that Lady Brackenstall was tied to.
Để mình đi trước khi mình đi tìm con chó của mình thì
A
hãy
deer hunt.
đi gọi là examine cái nhà này đi.
This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen.
Đương nhiên là sẽ có vụ fishy rồi, chắc chắn sẽ không phải là một
These
vụ đột
wine
nhập cướp
bottles
của
are
bình thường.
expensive and mostly from France. An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents.
Còn gì nữa không?
An empty... A bottle of wine is missing here.
Có vẻ là
The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a little silverware.
đúng. Tại sao mà không ăn cướp hết mà chỉ ăn cướp có mỗi mấy cái đồ bạc này
A
thôi?
hunting scene.
Ông này có vẻ rất là thích kiểu đi gì nhỉ? Đi săn. Cái gì đây? À đây là ánh nắng thôi, ánh nắng chiếu vô thôi. Hết rồi, trên bàn còn cái gì nữa không? Hết rồi.
Antique hunting weapons.
Trời ơi, một người rất là thích kiểu đi săn nhá.
The hunting scene. A trapper's hut. A trapper's hut.
Cái gì đây? Mình đã đến exam này chưa?
The death was instant.
Đạo chết luôn đấy. Body. Từ từ. Để chụp cái ảnh làm thumbnail cái. Nào, Sherlock Holmes quay lại nào. Ok rồi. À. Chưa, chuẩn bị tinh thần chưa? Say cheese. Rồi. Nào. Xem tab nhiệm vụ có những cái gì. Có một sợi dây thừng này. Và vụ này mình còn một vài nhân vật nữa mình sẽ gặp. Và mình quay trở về. Vai! Ông này lãng mạn vậy. Không gọi là thám tử gì mà không đi gọi là đi làm việc đi lại còn đi ngắm cảnh, lúc thì ngồi lúc thì ngắm cảnh, dã man. Cái gì đây? Từ. Có một cái gì đây?
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame. This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it.
Rồi. Từ small object thì kia. Trên bàn có cái gì ấy?
This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one? So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
Thế cho nên là kiểu cái con hai người này chắc là khá là thân với nhau ấy.
There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship?
Please leave my Mary alone. She suffered so much, she deserves some rest.
Được chưa? Hết chưa?
Let us try to open this safe.
Tức là bây giờ Sherlock Holmes
This
sẽ
safe
mở
can be
khóa.
cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
À, bây giờ mình phải nhìn vào cái số. Từ. Mở khóa mà thế này thì dễ nhỉ? Trong xếp có cái gì đây? Bức thư. Bức thư này là gì? Hôm nay bị sức khỏe bị yếu này. Uầy, bị yếu này.
It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care.
Nào, đã xong nhiệm vụ chưa? Rồi, bây giờ mình sẽ về lấy con chó để đi đánh hơi. Xem là có những cái gì rồi. Úi dồi ôi, nhiều vậy. Cái này cũng chưa chắc được ấy. Tạm thời thử cái đấy đã đi. Violent behavior. Không ngờ bấm bừa mà cũng búng. Cái này để cho gọi là cái này coi là gì nhỉ? Để giảm bớt mấy cái từ này đi. Về sau mình có thể chọn lại để gọi là để cho nó đỡ loạn ấy. Ok, rồi. Chắc là cần phải thu thập chứng cứ nhiều hơn. Cây này có vẻ khó đấy. Cái cây trước thì mình trông có vẻ dễ ấy hơn.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
Ô, con chó dễ thương à.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Rồi, xong làm thế nào để đi? Quay trở về. Lại lên xe quay trở về đây. Trở về hiện trường vụ án. À, con chó yêu quá. Trong Sherlock Holmes trông chảnh chó nhỉ.
Search, Toby.
Đây. Tôi đã làm một con chó. Vãi đã. Lại còn kiểu cầm cái tay nữa.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware. The scent leads to the well. I should check it. The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
Đúng. Nào, bây giờ bắt đầu đi xung quanh ở đây thôi. Xem cái này là có cái gì.
There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it?
Đây, chính là cái này.
I need a hook.
Đây,
If
hook
only
đây.
I had something with which I could lift that object. If only I had...
À, có thể trong cái shed sẽ có. Rồi, cứ ở đây cái đã nhá. Để chị đi sang cái shed. Đây, có cái
This
húc xùi.
hook might be useful. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest. Bags of seed. Some empty bags were recently moved. Bags of seed. This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty.
Rồi, giờ quay trở lại chỗ cái giếng thôi.
If only I had... The wheel handle is old and rusty. It seems to be used infrequently. If only I had something with which I could lift that object. Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence.
Đúng, tại sao lại giấu ở dưới cái giếng? Silverware này thì có vấn đề.
The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
Từ về nhà, phái đạn về nhà mình lại phải ngồi thôi, con đây đi đường vòng đấy. Từ từ, bây giờ là mình đã gọi là có vẻ như là có một thứ giấy fishy ở đây.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool was used to cut the rope. The fibers from this cut appear to be different.
Đúng. Wow, hay quá ha. Thử dùng knife nào.
If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
Tức là phải có một con dao. Ồ. Còn sao nữa? Từ. Bây giờ chắc là mình phải quay trở lại để xem là có hỏi được gì nữa không. Chứ bây giờ cũng không còn cái gì nữa đúng không?
What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. Another day he threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery. We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship? Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behaviour.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead, but a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was especially hard for her.
We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
Dám nghi ngờ Sherlock Holmes à? Ông này đâu rồi?
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know what to think about all this.
Là strong là coi như kiểu lười luôn ấy. Thế thôi hả? Nhanh vậy hả? Look for a sailor. Ok. Where? Có thể về nhà xem bản đồ xem là sailor ở đâu chăng? Possible. Mình có thể là đi nhìn bản đồ để xem là tìm được sailor ở đâu chăng?
A map of London and the surrounding area. It could be useful.
Ủa, có letter gì đây? Ai... The name of the ship này. Gibraltar. Xem là có tra được ở archive không? Mình siêu quá. 1893.
Here it is. The shipping company, the Adelaide, Southampton, London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
Widget. Đúng không?
Brave Toby.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893, and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins.
Nào, bây giờ chúng ta sẽ đâu nhỉ? Thằng đấy nó để ở đâu? Put on the table.
This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Chà.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Là chỉ có một
Captain
người
Jack
thôi.
Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
Có phải là vì ring không? Từ cái gì đây? Ôi, từ. Mình vừa nhìn thấy cái gì ở đây này. Ui, đây.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her, from when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right, if there was no evidence.
What then?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it.
Thằng này
That proves
đánh đá
nothing,
phết.
Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole. It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter.
À, thằng này có bằng chứng ngoại phạm.
I'm sure that he can.
Đấy, vụ này không thể nào mà kết thúc nhanh như vậy được. Nếu mà giải được như vậy thì nhanh quá.
Would you like to check his alibi?
No, there is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
vậy thôi hả? Oh my god. Vụ này kết thúc nhanh vậy. Không biết là có đúng không á.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this.
Dã man.
Please forgive me, Captain Crocker. I wished only to test your sincerity, and your words and deeds have far exceeded my expectations. See here, Captain Crocker, we'll do this in due form of law. You are the prisoner. Watson, you are a British jury. Captain Crocker, the evidence shows that you acted without premeditation and used reasonable force to protect an innocent victim from her husband's brutality. Your devotion pushed you to attempt to kill yourself in order to protect the one you love. Now, what say you, gentlemen of the jury?
Not guilty, my lord.
Vox populi, vox dei. You are acquitted, Captain Crocker. So long as the law does not find some other victim, you are safe from me.
Mr. Holmes.
It is a great responsibility that I take upon myself. but I will give Lestrade an excellent lead, and if he can't avail himself of it, I can do no more. Come back to your lady in a year, and may her future and yours justify us in the judgment which we have pronounced this night.
Mình chọn phương án này nhân đạo quá.
Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
Vụ này kết thúc nhanh vậy. Mình giải pro vậy ư? Cũng nhiều người. Chung là đúng là cái gì mà liên quan đến tình yêu ấy là nó sẽ vượt lên trên tất cả. Hôm nay mình nghĩ là mình kiểu như là đã hết cái case rồi đấy. Ai ngờ cái này giải nhanh quá ha. So với cái case trước thì case này giải nhanh hơn rất rất nhiều. Rồi. Chắc là mình sẽ lại chơi nhá hàng trước. Sau đấy thì lần tới sẽ chơi tiếp. Vụ gì đây?
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Công nhận chả hiểu tự dưng lại Sherlock Holmes lại tốt bụng vậy. Chắc chắn là có chuyện gì đấy xảy ra ở đây. Lốt lâu vậy ha. Để mình xem Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 bao giờ sẽ ra nhé. Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
Ta bây giờ sẽ đi tìm. Mình còn souvenir ở đâu tôi? Mình còn bao nhiêu người nữa? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 người nữa.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favor for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh no.
Dear. Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the large glass house?
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the colonial collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
Có cái tiếng nước chảy thật là thư giãn ấy. Cái đô này đẹp thật ha.
According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. These boot marks are fresh. It appears as though someone was dragging their feet. The traces are thinner in some places. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here. The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed. Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground. fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. Blood. This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced. The esconson was breached near the handle.
Như kiểu có ai muốn đột nhập
The
vào
door
cái
was forced
cửa
from
này
the
ấy.
inside of the colonial collection room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the colonial collection.
Rồi, đi thám hiểm nốt cái phòng này đi, xem là còn có cái gì nữa không. Cái gì đây? À, tưới nước, tưới nước.
These trees, with their roots in water, must originate from Louisiana.
Wow.
Ah, yes, the bayou. I remember our visit in the case of the Awakened.
Wow. Ôi, trông nhiều cây cối, trông mát mẻ, dễ chịu quá ha.
Here is a list of the stolen plants.
Ui, tất cả những cái kiểu cây mà trưng bày ở đây là bị lấy hết luôn.
Do not touch. Do not.
Hết chưa? Mình đã examine xong. Cái gì đây? Đã để ấy vòi nước.
This sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash, most likely a head wound. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all.
Tại sao mày lại mở cửa vào xong ngã
This
luôn nhỉ?
reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the colonial collection room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder? I think we need to inspect the colonial collection room.
Ok. Mai chơi đến đây thôi mọi người nha. Chắc là tập sau là mình sẽ phá đảo được game này đấy. Mình sẽ chờ ngày mai sẽ xem mình có phá đảo được cái này không. Dựa vào số list nhân vật thì chỉ còn có wow, hold on. Lại có cả một cái future case nữa. Ồ, tức là sẽ còn cái này sẽ còn dài dài đây. Sẽ còn case này và hai case nữa và một case nữa. I see. À thôi, bây giờ lười quá rồi. Chắc là mình sẽ dừng chơi ở đây thôi. Hay là chơi tiếp nhỉ? Thôi được rồi, chơi tiếp đi. Để coi như là lần sau mình sẽ phá đạp cái cây kia luôn. Còn một tập thôi.
Half of the colonial collection is absent. These plants come from all the territories of the British Empire.
Wow, Singapore nè, Ấn Độ nè, Malacca là Malai nè.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
Và mình sẽ phải đi gì? Exam Colonial Collection. Chả hiểu cái Colonial Collection ở đâu.
Water lily greenhouse. Dry tropics.
Wow, một vườn cây.
These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes.
Cái gì
The
đây?
symbol is not from Kew Gardens. Dry tropics.
Đây là phân bón này. Phòng này đi hết rồi chẳng thấy có gì. Ê, từ có cái gì đây? Không.
There is a smell of burning.
Bơn cái gì đấy? Ai bơn?
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. A broom handle was half burned. The remains of a picture frame. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material. The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned. Colonial Collection.
Mình đang ở garden rồi. Tức là lúc nãy là mình đi vào đây.
Dry tropics. Water lily greenhouse. Ventilation system. Seed nursery. Palm house. Director's office, cloakroom and laboratory. A map of Kew Gardens. Reserve.
Tức là mình phải quay trở lại vì là mình chưa khám phá hết. Try collection này. Từ từ.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
Lily. Từ.
According to this.
Ok rồi. Gì đây?
Water lily greenhouse. According to this.
Oh my god. Đẹp quá ha. Giết ở nhà lockdown rồi mà mình xem mấy cái này kiểu là cảm thấy thoải mái nhẹ nhàng ấy.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
Khóc chắc là vì bố bị mất.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only. For I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then that is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Nói là đi kiểu khám phá một cái vụ mất cây ấy, nhưng mà cuối cùng thì cũng là một cái vụ gọi là gì nhỉ? Về giết người ấy. Đây là gì? Đây là
Farmhouse.
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 À, tức là kiểu nó cũng kết nối hết với nhau nhỉ? Đây là mình đang đến đây.
The smell is strong. It is a detergent. These windows were perfectly cleaned. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture. This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned.
Công nhận, kiểu cả một cái căn phòng như thế này ấy, siêu rộng.
This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
Wow, đây gọi là gì nhỉ? Hệ thống điều hòa. Những năm xưa cũ. Xem mình đã có cái gì. Ok rồi, bây giờ chúng ta có Search Archive. rất nhiều search archive. Chắc là mình sẽ về nhà trước. À, vừa lúc nãy tra thì Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1 thì có vẻ là nhiều hành động hơn. Và chưa thấy có thời gian phát hành cụ thể, chỉ biết là trong năm nay thôi. Có vẻ như là sẽ đấm đá nhiều hơn. Thế cũng tốt ý. Mấy cái dòng game cũ thì nó quá là kiểu gọi là gì nhỉ? Suy luận ý. Chơi hơi bị mệt. Bây giờ đầu tiên là phải ra archive để search. My god, phải search nhiều quá. Stolen list. Botany. Đây, chính nó. Tức là những cái loài cây độc cho con người. Gì nữa? Symbol of broken plot. Divide à? Art and architect.
That is not the one I need.
History.
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I... That is not the one I need.
The Gotting.
Here it is. The Divine Syndicate is not a supplier to Kew Gardens. Besides, there is no address here.
Đây.
Here it is.
Bolton Road.
My archive.
Rồi, mình đã xong hết chưa? Evidence là xong hết rồi đúng không? Ok, rồi bây giờ
A map of London and the...
còn gì nữa không? Nghĩa chúng ta sẽ tới Scotland Yard để khám bệnh đi.
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready for autopsy then.
Có một điều mà mình không để ý lần trước là không hiểu sang cái volume tiếp theo ấy. Cái gì đây? Thì những cái người ngồi ngoài nó còn có giống nhau nữa không?
This watch is of great value.
Vậy thì không phải là ăn cướp rồi.
A membership card for the London Crest Club. A beautiful feather pen of a good make. First of all, let us carry out an external examination.
Tay trông rất lạ nhá.
No redness, stings, or bruises. Nothing suspicious here. There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination so that we can proceed with the autopsy. Now, let us examine the internal organs.
Ôi đừng bảo tôi phải mổ nha. Mày vãi đạn. Trời ơi, trông như cái trò chơi như kiểu là trò chơi Doctor cái gì Clumsy Hand ấy. Mẹ ơi.
There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death. The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs.
Mẹ ơi.
The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs.
Vãi cả đạn, nhìn đi. Nhìn đi. Đây sẽ là ảnh thumbnail.
The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs. The heart's blood vessels show... The heart tissue shows no visible pathological signs.
Ôi dồi, vãi đạn, từ từ.
The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant. The lungs are congested and edematous. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning, plant poisoning to be more exact.
You mean...
Yes, it is murder.
We should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No. A few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson. It is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building? I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
Nào bây giờ mình sẽ đi đâu làm gì? Rồi bây giờ sẽ quay trở lại. Chà, ông này có nhiều câu để hỏi quá ha. Kiếp quần áo ông này bẩn thật đấy.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Ôi, xong.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
As deputy director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say? He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That and...
And...
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The Divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he... why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Staff building à? Bản đồ ở đâu ta? Staff building. No. Staff building hình như là đây. Đúng không ta?
Locked. Locked.
Chắc là phải đi về cái hướng này. Nursery.
Locked.
Hả? Sao lock vậy?
Nursery. Locked.
Locked. Đúng chưa? Seed house à?
Seed house.
Đó, tôi đến seed house làm cái gì? đang đến staff building mà.
What should we do?
Mình đang ở seat house là đây. Nursery đây. Ủa, office building là...
Director's office, cloakroom, and laboratory.
Đầu tiên là gì? Inspect staff buildings. Seat house không biết có gì. Từ vào thử đi xem nó có gì.
Locked.
Toàn lock thế nè.
Seed house. Locked. Locked.
Nhưng mà đúng là công nhận là so với cái thứ hai ấy, thì là cái sorry, cái game mà The Devil's Daughter thì là cái game này nó ít hành động hơn.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path. I have to manage Kew Gardens. And I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Rồi, có chìa khóa rồi.
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah. At the moment, I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
Rồi, tao biết rồi, tao vừa mới ở đấy xong.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Interesting. Ok rồi, bây giờ đi gặp Miss White thì nhỉ? Lại quay trở lại cái Seed Garden. Khổ lắm. Vừa mới ở đấy xong.
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery.
Từ từ, trước khi vào kiểm tra mấy cái này thì bây giờ mình cần phải gọi là gì? Đi đến The Seed House đã. Đây là dáng vẻ chạy đến gặp gái.
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's entering the seed house.
Đây là dáng vẻ hứng khởi đến gặp gái. Ok rồi, đi đằng này thôi.
Open.
Trời ơi, mình không cần phải nói open như vậy. Nào, bây giờ nói chuyện với Miss White nào.
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Con này trông có vẻ rất tà lưa ấy. Từ từ. Poor family, tại sao lại wear expensive perfume? Sugar baby. Oh, sugar baby. Ủa, còn cái gì nữa ta? Ôi, từ.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Wow. Dài vậy.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Rồi sẽ bây giờ quay trở lại start building thôi. Lúc nãy mình vào thì mình không có chìa khóa nên mình không mở được. Mà bây giờ thì đã chắc là mở được rồi. Ok. Vào rồi bây giờ.
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose. It appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here. Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
Đúng. Tại sao lại phải có những cái bộ trông như kiểu là phòng hóa học thí nghiệm như thế này?
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals.
Oh, so suspicious.
This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
Shady.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory. I don't hear anything.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
Là cái thằng ở ngoài đấy.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
Tí nữa chắc là sẽ quay trở lại đây để nghe một cái gì đấy. Ok rồi.
A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert.
Thằng này có vẻ học không được tốt lắm ấy. Phải học lại 1 năm.
Chemicals. A sufficient quantity for some serious experiments. the employee's cloakroom.
Cái phòng đấy thì hình như mình không có chìa khóa. Đúng không?
Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
Ồ, phá khóa. Ok rồi. Rồi skip đi. Chờ mấy cái này.
Open.
Lâu chết đi rồi.
Martin Hamish's locker. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces. Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting.
Tức là thằng này muốn lên làm giám đốc.
Father and I, Kew Gardens. Albert's locker. Specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea.
Tội nghiệp nhở. Kiểu
A
bị cha
rejection
bắt.
letter from the British Royal Naval College.
Trời, cha là kiểu dùng ảnh hưởng.
A picture of Miss White and Albert in front of the University of London.
And they seem to get along.
Miss White's locker. Apparently, Miss White is a capable student. A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents.
Tội nghiệp.
These jewels must be worth a small fortune.
Sao con này lại có nhiều, vừa mới thiếu tiền mà lại có gọi là
A vanity purse. It is of high quality.
Sugar baby rồi. Sugar baby. Wow. Yêu, tình yêu. Chà chà. Chà 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 chà. Ok rồi.
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. French wine, a remarkable vintage. Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
Cảm giác như là Sugar Baby và mối tình tay mấy.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
Cái này chắc là mình cần phải có một cái gọi là gì nhỉ? Một cái password thì mình mới mở được đúng không? Không hiểu sao mà mình mở được. The breakup à? Kinh nhờ, hẹn cả bố lẫn con. Sugar Baby. Bực mình quá ha. Cái này là cái đấy chắc là mình phải quay trở về để tìm được một cái gì đấy thì mình mới. Bây giờ thử mở nursery đi. Chắc bây giờ mở được nursery rồi đấy.
An award presented to Martin Hamish for Best Grower of the Year. A master's degree diploma. It belongs to Martin Hamish.
Ông Martin Hamish này rất
We
là
can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
ông này có vẻ rất là, hay là đây là bọn nó gang up lại để giết cái
A
ông
glasses case. It is empty.
cái ông kia.
A thesis written by Martin Hamish. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office. This poster is for an exhibition that Martin Hamish was directing, but it had nothing to do with Kew Gardens. This certificate belongs to Martin Hamish. He won a horticultural competition. It is a bust of Montague Dunn.
Ghét ông này đến mức độ như vậy đấy.
It is a bust of Montague Dunn.
Mình còn thiếu cái gì nữa không nhỉ?
It is a bust.
Vẫn chưa gọi là ấy hết ấy. Rồi, từ từ. Không chỉ có cái ông này thôi.
It is a bust. I am curious if the marble that we found
đây.
will fit this place. Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common.
Điều đấy nghĩa là gì? Từ.
The seeds of plant species are stored here. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room. Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. This place serves as Albert's office. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants.
Poor Mr. Montague Dunn.
A water tank. A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. A ventilation
Cái map này rộng, thực ra là thế này thôi nhưng mà cái map này nó rất là rộng. Chỗ này là mình đã từ từ quay trở lại để xem là mình đã khám phá những cái vùng nào rồi. Tất cả cái chỗ này là mình đã khám phá rồi này. Shit house rồi này, nursery rồi này. Còn hình như cái chỗ này là mình chưa đi. Ok. Rồi, quay trở lại. Mình chưa đi vào hết cái khu này đúng không? À, khu này đi rồi. Chả hiểu sao vào cái chỗ này nó lại có nhà. Bí rồi đấy. Thôi, chắc là đi về tìm Toby thôi. Kiểu cái thiếp với thì quay kiểu gì nhỉ? Còn một cái còn một cái này mà mình vẫn chưa mở được nè. Mở kiểu gì ta? Thôi, ok, từ từ. Về lấy Toby, tính tiếp. À đấy, từ từ. Đây.
A map of... Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do.
Let us go to Kew Gardens. Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search.
Con chó này chân ngắn, nó chạy chậm dã man luôn.
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found.
Đâu? Toby đâu? À đây. Khổ.
This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
Có vẻ như là có một người nào đấy đã làm thí nghiệm. Và sau đấy, tức là thí nghiệm trước với những cái loài thực vật độc với con bướm. Ôi, cái case này nhìn ngắn mà thực ra dài phết ha.
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens. Let us use a pipette to take a sample of the liquid and fill a test tube. A colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you
Ôi,
think
ông
it
này
is?
liều thật đấy.
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens. Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
Mình vẫn chưa xong cái nhiệm vụ này. Có vẻ là bí rồi đây. Bí rồi đây.
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
Nói dối. Nói dối.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father, so it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
Ủa, khổ. Chọn chọn.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Có thể vào đây để hỏi thằng này xem là về kiểu cái chuyện nó thích tàu á.
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
Bọn này toàn nói dối nhỉ?
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Poor Mr. Montague.
Ok. Ê.
A ventilation.
Thôi, hôm nay làm đến đây thôi mọi người ạ. Hôm sau mình chơi tiếp. Bây giờ hôm nay giải được hơn một vụ án. Để hôm sau mình chơi tiếp. Nói chung là nếu mà hôm sau mà không phá đảo cái đợt ca sau mà không phá đảo được hết thì chơi tiếp theo ca sau nữa. Không có gì phải xoắn cả. Thế nha, thank you mọi người đã đi cùng mình. Bây giờ là 11 giờ 40. Một ngày tối chủ nhật, nhằm tối thứ bảy yên bình rồi nha, BB mọi người.